And we are live and on time as always. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog here with two of the three on the panel. Lou will be joining us shortly, but for UFC 305, the best MMA breakdown panel in the game with me. Starting off of a 4-1 contender series for Lucky Locks, 1-4 for myself. So, how you doing, sir?
I'm gonna have to correct you. It's 5-0, actually.
I'm sorry, you did have
5-0 clean.
5-0.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. Listen to Lucky. I say it, and so do the comments. How you doing?
5-0 clean sweep. Yeah, contender series is a bit of a crapshoot, but it's nice to go 5-0. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I wouldn't
Other
know.
than that, though, last week, was good on UFC. I ended up getting involved on the under 3.5 in the main event last week, so that was good. BKFC was good, and hopefully this weekend is good too. I like the card. I really like the main event, so I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you guys.
Yeah. Very interested to see if the chalk continues or if we get a little bit of chalky locks. It is, but hey, 5-0 is 5-0. 2 cents. How you doing? What any thoughts on the contender series after trailing my picks?
Well, first and foremost, Aaron, thank you as always for having me. Shout out to you, Lucky, and everybody watching in the chat. Make sure y'all smash the like button for Aaron. It's funny you should ask about contender series because your boy got fucking smoked, reverse swept, unlucky locks, got fucking destroyed. But you know what? It's all good because I had a great week for UFC Vegas 95. 1 over 2 units. So looking to do that again, have another good week for UFC 305 in the land down under in Perth. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here talking about it. And, let's have another good week.
Yeah, I would have loved to be coming here talking about Zhongli number 8, but Tybura, not the side at all. Enough of my failures from last week and earlier this week. We're on to 305, and we're starting at the 125 division, also known as the flyweight division. Stuart, Nicole, Jesus, Agular here. Stuart, Nicole being the debutante here out of Queensland here. He's actually the older of the two fighters here. Jesus Aguilar, only 28 years old. I kind of seems like he would be a little bit older, but he definitely has the UFC experience here. Stuart hasn't fought a lot of very impressive competition, and at times has kind of looked a little bit average against that competition. Aguilar, very exciting. Everybody's favorite guy to bet against Shannon Ross. Every guy's favorite guy to bet as an underdog against Mendaka last time. But to be honest, rewatching that fight, I just feel like there's a lot of room for improvement on the Jesus Aguilar side. I do feel that Stuart's being given a pretty winnable first fight here. Jesus is taken down at will. He also pulls that guillotine constantly. I know he can possibly catch fighters in this. I think Stuart is of a level where he's going to be able to avoid that, get those takedowns, get the control that Mendaka got. I don't know how Aguilar really won that fight, even though it was a split. I know Mendaka doesn't have the greatest gas tank. We'll see how Stuart is here. I was looking for a way to get onto the Aguilar dog side, but ended up being a Stuart probably decision, honestly, for me. I know he has a lot of finishes, but Aguilar is very tough, and Stuart's finishes are kind of by just making these subpar guys kind of quit under the mounted pressure. I don't see Aguilar giving up to that. I think he's going to give him a hard fight. I just don't see Aguilar winning a decision in Australia, and I don't think he gets the finish either. So that leaves Stuart by decision for me. Lucky.
Yeah, I'm just not impressed enough with Stuart Nicole to bet him minus 2XX as debutant against a guy with a winning UFC record in Aguilar. Aguilar's got more experience, more UFC-specific experience. He's marginally younger. I think he fought better competition, even on the regional run if he just went regional for regional. UWC and Combate are pretty good regional shows, and Aguilar dominated those circuits. And, now he's just a bit too big of a dog to this guy, in my opinion. I'm not really convinced that's super accurate. So it's going to be dog or pass for me. If Nicole is that good, he's going to have to show me that.
Yeah, no, I have no interest in buying this at all. Needless to say, not the Zhongli. Just for a pure pick, I got Nicole. But I totally agree with that. 2 cents. Any thoughts here on the first fight of the night?
Dude, I really wanted to bet Agular, but I feel like he might be a little bit of what are the kids saying these days? Value trap. I'm not like you said, I'm not overly impressed with Nicole either, but I think he'll just win a decision here. I don't really I feel like, Aguilar is always live to hit that gilly, but if he doesn't, he's just going to lose a decision and just end up on his back a lot. What's the over under for how many times he pulls gilly in this fight? What do y'all think? Y'all think he's going to spam it, or I don't know?
I think he pulls it 2 times.
Nice. Yeah, but give me Stuart Nicole by decision.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree here. I think it's closer to like a -130, -150 favorite, but they're trying to get people to bet on Aguilar here. I think if Aguilar loses that fight to Mendonca, that split decision, which I personally thought Mendonca won that fight, it's Mendonca in this spot, and I don't think we're getting this. I don't think we're getting +190 on Mendonca, and Aguilar did not blow the doors off of Mendonca by any stretch of the imagination. And I know he fought a good round 1 against Tatsu Taira, so there is that as well in his loss that will be brought up, I'm sure. But yeah, I can't get there on either one of them. So -230 sucks. +190 is going to get a lot of people on Aguilar, and rightfully so, but pass for me. So I'm going to move on to the next fight of the night. 170. This fight, I have no interest really in at all. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a huge Keenan Song guy, not a huge Ricky Glenn guy at 170. I'm even less of a Ricky Glenn guy. I would think that Song's, knocked out and rocked better level of opponents and is going to be the much bigger guy here. He's more active. Both guys are 36, but Glenn's never been to Australia either. There's some rumors this is Glenn's last fight. Song probably kills him, but yeah, I literally took the words out of my mouth. But who cares? So I'll say Song by KO makes the most sense, but probably somehow Ricky Glenn wins a split decision or knocks him out in 2 seconds. It's something weird's going to happen. I don't want anything to do with this fight, but Song by KO is my square play. But 2 cents.
I mean, fucking Mick took the words out of your mouth. You're taking the words out of my mouth. Yeah, I was gonna say Song KO, but I won't be surprised if it goes the other way. Song is not the most durable of gentlemen that's ever lived, but yeah, I think he probably chins old Ricky, whatever, Glenn. But yeah, I would never fucking parlay Song. He's too old. He gives me too many jobber vibes. It's a fucking jobber fest here. But yeah, give me Song. I think he's gonna be bigger, hit a little bit harder.
And just real quick to Justin Vegas, who was missing last week, strangely from the show, but there was a guy signed just like Justin in the chat. Just going to say, yes, Rob Wilkinson will be in a few cross parlays for me. I am not speaking for Lucky Locks, who can talk about it on his own time if that will be a part of his plan. But Lucky, what's your thoughts on this combined 72-year-old, 73-year-old fight here?
Yeah, I mean, it's another line I'm just I don't really get. Well, I get it. I just don't like it. Song has been an underdog in 5 or 6 straight fights, and now he's close to -200. Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that one, bro. I get why people are low on Rick Glenn because I'm low on him too. He's been knocked out twice in a row. It's a bad look. He's getting old. His chin is disintegrating. I mean, Song is only 2 fights removed from being knocked out twice in a row himself. He's lost 3 out of the last 4. And Glenn fought to a draw with Grant Dawson, who is a lot better than Song. But, both of these guys, I think, a bit washed. They're both getting old. They both can get knocked out. I don't see how you get excited about Song here. I'm going to say dogger pass again.
Fair enough. Neither one in the Zhang so far. But, yeah, we're going to move on to the next one here, which is, man, isn't this a good one? This is a fight that definitely should be sanctioned by a very responsible athletic commission. Alex Reyes got deaded by Charlie Campbell after getting deaded by Mike Perry 8 years prior or whenever that was. Tom Nolan got dropped by Victor Martinez before dropping Victor Martinez. Yes, the Victor Martinez. And prior to that, he got knocked out by the Nicholas Mata. Bogdan Grad is how he got here. So we're really building up Nolan for some reason. If you're not betting a round one finish for Reyes just for the culture, you are boring. But, I mean, from who cares? Tom Nolan, I hope he wins a decision. I hope he doesn't even finish him. I hope he can't finish Alex Reyes. So he has no stock raised from this fight that he doesn't deserve to have. Yeah, who cares? Lucky.
I wonder what they're trying to set up here. Very innocent. Yeah, I mean, it's a setup fight for Nolan in Australia. Reyes has been knocked out twice in a row. Those knockouts were separated by 6 years, thereabouts. You mentioned Mike Perry knocked him out with a knee 7 years ago. Randomly comes back last year and gets put away by Charlie Campbell. And that's exactly what they called him here to do again. They're flying him out to Australia to get clapped by Nolan. Is it going to happen? Yeah, probably. But, I don't. This fight kind of is what it is.
Yes, well said. 2 cents. Do you have anything breaking to say about this shit fight?
Nah, I couldn't even come up with anything clever on the spot. It's like they're almost telling you just like don't fucking bet this. Like move on. There's other spots to get greasy with. Like yeah, it's probably looking at a Nolan KO. Probably the first round. Like he's pretty aggressive and like Lucky was saying like he's just like super inactive and then just like randomly shows up to get stomped. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. So it's like yeah, 37-year-old dude coming off a long layoff for his last fight, and then he like just takes another year off. I kind of get it because he got smoked, but I think he's going to get smoked again here too. Tom Nolan, first round knockout.
Yep, the 24-year-old we're going with minus 1,200 favorite, believe it or not. Yeah, nothing in the Zhongli. I will tell you right now, the Zhongli has 6 fights in it. Will the next fight be one of them? Perhaps. Jack Jenkins and Herbert Burns at 145. Again, I can't tell who they're trying to get a win for here at all in Australia at all. I just wonder. Jack Jenkins coming off of a bad break, you could say, in the last fight against Chepe Mariscal. Now going against a very different type of fighter in Herbert Burns, who after minute number 2.5 turns into dust. He's lost by exhaustion, I think, on more than one occasion, just once officially. But he's also starting to get knocked out on a pretty regular occasion. Not breaking news here. I'm going to trust Jack Jenkins. Obviously, the number sucks. However, the Zhongli needs to get to 4 digits, and Jack Jenkins is a member of the Zhongli parlay. First member here, and he better finish Herbert Burns inside of 6.5 minutes. So, and I think he finishes him inside of a round. So, I think this is going to be pretty clean, clear. Lucky.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Jenkins is good. He's good. He's not minus 800 good. And,
No.
Yes, it's a setup fight for him. Yeah, he's going to win. Yeah, Herbert Burns got finished 3 times in a row, blah, blah, blah. We all know. I mean, Jenkins beat Shameless Don Shayness. Like, wow. Very, very impressive. Nice win. He robbed Jamal Emmers blind. He lost on an injury to Chepe. I mean, minus 800 on this guy is a big no-no for me, but I'm picking him, of course.
Yes. Yeah, and I did get him in the Zhongli the other day at minus 550. I didn't realize what a steal that would be. 2 cents. Are you on the Burns side?
Dude, this is going to be a rough skid, man. Like, not only like four losses in a row, 4 knockout losses in a row. I think Jack Jenkins is probably going to like fuck him up with leg kicks, and then he's going to be hobbling around on one leg, and Jenkins will probably knock him out. So yeah, Jenkins by like late first round, early second round knockout. I wanted to fade Jenkins here, but I just can't, man. Like, and I kind of wanted to pick a decision too, just to be. I really wanted to be contrarian here in general, but yeah, I think it's a Jenkins knockout.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is definitely not. And I wouldn't say I moved the line. Zhongli moved the line, Noah, but either way, we will take credit together. But yeah, plus 550 on Herbert Burns at this point. Good go ahead and bet a round 1 Herbert Burns submission just in case, because that's the only way I feel like he wins this fight. And I'm sure you can get a good number on that. So either way, we're going to move on. But first member of the Zhongli is Jenkins. And we're moving on to the 125 division flyweights, Casey ONeal, Luana Santos here. I apologize. Luana Santos, LFA alum, back in LFA. Wasn't super blown away by what I was seeing. Coming into UFC, it's all right, I guess. The Juliana Killer Miller fight is a hard fight to get out of my head, to be honest with you, because Miller was kind of hurting her a little bit until she wasn't hurting her. So, but at the same point, Casey ONeal seems like a little bit of a busted prospect at this point. But coming back to Australia, where her father, I believe, is like the president of Eternal MMA, she's very, very well ingratiated in Australian MMA. This is a hometown fight for Casey ONeal. Make no mistake about it. I think that Santos needs to finish her in order to win this fight, and unless it's a very decisive decision, which I have trouble seeing with Santos. I don't think Santos's stand-up is all that great, but at the same point, I do think the grappling difference is huge here, and Casey ONeal is going to continue to struggle there. That's where the fight's going to get to with Luana. I believe it's going to get there very early. I think she's aware of that. She's going to submit Casey ONeal. I think she submits her early. So submission for Santos for me, and she is the second member of the Zhongli parlay because we get to the 4 digits. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on this one?
I don't like this fight. I think it's greasy. I think it's going to be a split, actually. And for some reason, I just think Casey Neal is going to get the nod. I think she's going to kind of get her ass beat. I think she's going to get out grappled a little bit. But I think she's gonna steal one here, man. So I'm glad that that Santos is in the Zhongli, so it's on the other side in case the pick is wrong. I'm not gonna bet it. I was talking about this yesterday. I don't. It's not that I don't think Santos shouldn't be favored. It's just a little, just like a touch wide. I think it should maybe a little bit closer to a pick 'em, but nothing crazy. So I'm just not gonna touch it. But yeah, I will. Other than of course, tailing the Zhongli. So yeah, I hope Santos wins for that. But I got a feeling that Casey's gonna fucking pull some bullshit. So I hope she doesn't. I hope I'm fucking wrong.
No, I don't hate it again. Yeah, we shall see. But the line's kind of stayed steady where it's at. So I think both sides feel pretty good on where they are. I hope that Lucky is with me, judging by how the last week or so has been going. Lucky, tell me.
Yeah. ONeal had a really hot start to her career, had a bad injury and has been 0-2 since. I don't think it was really 100% the injury that caused those results, but certainly didn't help. She lost to Jennifer Maia, who is no longer with the promotion. She's fighting on Invicta now. Got submitted by Lipsky, who's decent but not great. Santos is 3-0 in the UFC with 2 finishes. I mean, they were Juliana Miller and Maria Agapova, so, But, I mean, Stephanie Egger is a big physical fighter. That's a pretty decent win. And ONeal has already been that girl, with the shiny undefeated record before. Both of them can put up good volume. ONeal has put up, monstrous volume in some of her previous fights. And what I like about Casey is she's physical, she's mean. But Santos has great physicality as well. And I think she might be able to have some success in the grappling here, like you alluded to, Aaron. I think she can sting Casey on the feet. I think she's maybe a little more powerful. I think Santos is a bit of a tricky matchup for Casey, but you mentioned the connections to Australia. Obviously, Casey grew up there, should have some good hometown support here, but I think Santos as a slight favorite makes sense here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like I said, line's pretty much staying where it's at, -142, +120 to Casey. I mean, I feel like a lot of these fights early on, there's just only so much that can really be said. So kind of moving along at a pretty easy clip. ONeal by robbery. I don't think that's a great. I think sprinkling ONeal by decision is not a bad play at all. I'm probably going to do it myself as a hedge. So Definitely think that the hometown decision or close to hometown, even if she's Scottish, or claims she's Scottish. When she needs to claim she's Australian, she's Australian. So again, her dad's part of a fight organization.
So pulling the Aussie, playing the Aussie card conveniently.
Yeah, she's Australian as fuck this week. You'll definitely see. But if they ever go to Edinburgh and she's on the card, you're gonna hear that Scottish
Edinburgh, UFC Edinburgh.
UFC Edinburgh. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next fight. Thank you. I always like when Noah approves of it's a bad play. That's fine. But either way, moving on to the next fight. But Santos, she is in the Zhongli. So that's 2 straight in the Zhongli. And there is a 3rd straight in the Zhongli as well, because one of the 2 fighters from this next fight will be in the Zhongli for me. Josh Culiba and Ricardo Ramos at 145. Ricardo Ramos has been in the UFC. How many years do you think Ricardo Ramos has been in the UFC? Would you say like 5, 6, 7? Yeah. It's over 7 years now, Ricardo Ramos has been in the UFC. And I got to be honest, I don't think anything truly huge has developed with Ricardo Ramos. I don't think Ricardo Ramos is ever going to be that guy. And I also don't think Josh Culiba is exactly ever going to be that guy either. I think this is about as mid of a fight as you can get, to be honest with you. But both guys coming off 2 straight losses. Danny Silva did cash with him last time as a dog against Culiba. It was a very close fight, very, very, very competitive. Ricardo Ramos is getting guillotine choked in 2 straight fights by Rosa and Charles Jourdain, who Charles Jourdain announced today he's going to 135. And good luck to Charles at 135. Ramos is a prospect still. Ramos and Phil Hawes are the eternal prospects of the UFC. To be honest with you, this is a fade on Ricardo Ramos. I just don't think that, other than a very flashy early finish or some sort of honestly, his grappling I don't think is even of that level. I feel like he just needs some sort of fluky finish. Otherwise, I feel like Culiba kind of covers him in most areas throughout this fight. I think that also has the hometown behind him, so close decision is going to go his way. I don't see a finish huge on either side. I think this one most likely goes the distance. Give me Culiba to just kind of outstrike and outvolume Ricardo Ramos, who just I'm not a believer at all. It's as much a fade on Ramos as it is believing in Culiba, but 3rd member of the Zhongli and 3rd fight in a row. Got Josh Culiba minus 170. And now he's at minus 140. So that was my fault. But whatever. Lucky.
Yeah, they're both on a 2-fight losing streak. In the case of Ramos, she got guillotined twice in a row. Had a bit of a layoff and comes back to do that. I mean, that just can't happen in 2024 at this level, man. Culiba's got the home game here. Losing his last fight to Danny Silva, isn't the best look. Lerone Murphy is pretty excusable. Yeah, I really don't have much. I think Culiba is a better striker than Ramos. I think he can hold his own defending takedowns. On the ground, I think I favor Ramos there, but I think Culiba can win this fight with his boxing.
Yep. All right. 2 cents. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's Culiba again for me. And I feel much the same way. I think it's probably a decision. I thought about maybe like the TKO. I don't know. He just it's not that he can't get it, and he does have some. He doesn't have any in the UFC. I guess that's what's making me think that he can't really get it. I guess I wouldn't be surprised. It's not like Ramos has never been knocked out before, but I think it's probably a Culiba decision.
Yeah, no, I'll be curious to see because of course the numbers aren't out for the prelims yet on the props but I would be curious on. I don't think Culiba by KO is out of the question, but I do think it's probably a decision here. But I do think he wins it pretty clear. I'm a little confused on the numbers coming in, but I'm going to be curious at Ramos's shape with no USADA. I do think he could be one of the guys who benefits coming back after a little bit of a layoff here. So I'll be curious to see at weigh-ins, but sorry, locked into Zhongli with Josh Culiba. So Yeah, we're just going to keep on trucking along again. Minus 148 on Culiba, plus 125 to Ricardo Ramos as of now. And we're on to the featured prelim, and every right for this to be the featured prelim of the night. We have a former Glory kickboxer, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Tafa. And as much a former Glory kickboxer as Dustin Jacoby is a former Glory kickboxer. So just go look up those two guys' kickboxing careers. And then Walter Walker, Johnny Walker's highly touted prospect brother who trained in Russia to become a wrestling great and came over to the UFC to lose to Lukasz Brzeski by decision. So, yeah, this is a really just wow, what a fight it is. I think that I want nothing to do with this from a betting perspective, but from a pick perspective, I have Junior Tafa. I think just he is live for the KO for throughout the fight, sure, but I think that Walker is going to be able to just kind of wrestle him around until he gets tired, and then he's going to get dropped by Junior Tafa. And I just wonder if he finishes him or if Tafa makes a mistake and then ends up losing a decision. I'm going to flip a coin in my mind and say that Walker ends up holding on for a 29-28 split decision win, but I don't really care. It is going to be a terrible fight, and I hope it doesn't last. So if it doesn't last, it will probably be Tafa by KO, but again, I'll take Walker by decision. This is going to be terrible. 2 cents.
Yeah, I think you were almost onto something. I think Junior Tafa is going to punch a hole through Walter Walker's skull, maybe with a knee. So maybe not a punch, but yeah, I think it's a Junior Tafa KO. I just don't think Walter Walker is very good. Like, I think he will try and do a little grappling, probably get a takedown or so, but eventually I think that Junior dots him. So yeah, Tafa by second round knockout.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Lucky.
Yeah, we got Junior Tafa as the favorite here, eh? Interesting, man. Like people really think Walker is that much of a slob.
Yeah, they're out. They're out.
Tafa lost to Mo Usman and got controlled for 12 minutes, and I got controlled super easily by DeLima, and DeLima is obviously better than all of these guys, granted, but
sure.
I get that Walker looked horrible last time. He opened minus 400 in that fight, which was wrong, but now to make him an underdog to a guy with 7 fights who can't wrestle, who made Mo Usman look like Khabib, I'm like, maybe it's a little bit of an overcorrection. I mean, surely Walker can just chill on top of this guy like a blob for a little bit, right? I mean,
yeah.
Is he really that bad? I mean, maybe, but
you're gonna see Tafa grabbing his knee by the middle of round 2 if he can't get up. He's just gonna be like, my meniscus, ouch.
Like maybe he gets smoked on the feet, but as an underdog, I'm gonna side with Walker. In all seriousness, I think he has grappling upside, legitimate grappling upside, and I think Junior Tafa has really poor resistance to grappling, and there's a real viable path for Walker to look like a favorite here. I'm not saying bet it, hands up. I'm not gonna be doing that. But, yeah, I'm going to side with Walker as the dog.
Yeah, to be honest, if Walker gets to plus 150, I'll bet it. But at plus 110, I'm going to leave it alone for now. But enjoy all the bettors of that fight. Minus 130 to Tafa. What is happening?
A smart man passes here. This is just
Yep, that is what we are doing. John Stockton, it is. We are on to the main card. And the main card is starting out with, I don't know, interesting matchup. The return of Leong taking on Carlos Prates, everybody's favorite cigarette smoking, bonus winning Muay Thai fighter. Carlos Prates, he's a very, very precise striker, very good Muay Thai striker. He's exceeded my expectations from LFA, where I thought he was pretty good. He obviously had some impressive wins, and then he came on to the Contender Series, looked pretty good against Mitch Ramirez, and then the last 2 wins being against Giles and Radke. Not the best of wins, but I did pick Radke in the last fight, and Prentice, really showed me he's continuing to kind of evolve and get more comfortable with using his striking to defend against, the grappling and everything like that. Not going to be a problem here with Ling Jing Leong. Ling Jing Leong's getting old. He hasn't been around for a little while. I think he's slowing down significantly at this point. And, the thing is, he still can definitely take a shot. He's a very, very tough fighter. He's not going to just go away. I definitely could see this being a decision for, one of these two fighters. I think it will be closer than a lot of people are thinking. But I am going to go with Prates to be able to hold on to take a decision here over Ling Jing Leong. But finish definitely would be quite the statement. Lucky.
Yeah, I mean, Lee is 36, coming off an almost 2-year layoff. So right off the bat, I don't really like that. I think he has been performing pretty well lately, though, honestly. I mean, there's an argument that he could be on a 2-fight win streak right now. I mean, he lost to D-Rod on a split that he likely should have gotten. His last 2 wins have been knockouts over Shalikov and Ponzinibbio. I mean, got smoked by Chimaev in between them. And my favorite Chimaev performance of his career, probably, that was a savage finish. Prates is on fire right now. He is a hot name at the moment. He's won 9 in a row, all knockouts except for the one which started the streak. He's got 19 out of 17 wins inside the distance. He's 2-0 in the UFC with 2 knockouts. He's a Muay Thai striker. And I've been watching him for a while, just like you have before joining the UFC. He's really fun. And he's become a favorite of mine just to watch his fights. I really like to watch him fight. He had that funny viral moment smoking a dart after his knee to the body KO against Radke. And people keep trying to bet against him, which is fine, but it's like people keep bringing up like, oh, well, he doesn't win minutes, he wins moments, all this. And it's like I feel like people kind of undervalue or underestimate his ability to find those moments. Like at this point, it's not really just some random rug pull that he's miraculously pulling off every time. Like he's done it 8 times in a row. You should probably, not be banking on, well, as long as he, doesn't do X, another fighter does Y, it should be fine. Like you should be factoring in, like at some point, I think he's more than likely going to create something. And I'm also going to say, in contrast to the tone of which my breakdown has kind of evinced up until this point, I don't think Prates is pronouncedly more skilled than Li Jinliang. I really don't. I think it's honestly a badly mispriced line, especially considering what I believe to be, a small difference in the commensurate skill levels of the two. But Li is older. He's probably a little bit slower. He's less active. He's probably less durable. I mean, that's an assumption because there's not really much evidence for that. He's never been knocked out. I'm making that assumption pretty much based off age. At 36 now. So, yeah, I do make Prates a favorite here. The juice is not really worth the squeeze, in my opinion. I'm rooting for a Prates win because I like him and I'm picking him, but no bet.
Yeah, and by the way, Prates is in the Zhongli. Got him at minus 250, and now he's at minus 360. So I guess that I should have put out the Zhongli ahead of time. I didn't realize these lines were going to move so much in 2 days. 2 cents. And by the way, Lou, welcome to the program. Sorry. It's all good. Don't worry. You missed out on all of the prelims where we were able to talk about in 33 minutes and we probably said too much about them. So you missed out on nothing. You're good. 2 cents.
Yeah, so I agree with what y'all said pretty much. I actually did parlay Prates, and I'm glad that he's in the Zhongli as well. I think that, yeah, it's like what Lucky was saying. He's really inactive, and the difference between Prates and like the last few guys that he's beaten is he's like considerably younger. Like his last few wins are like Ponzi and Salikov and fucking, I don't know, man. Like he loses to like long rangy strikers, and that's exactly what Carlos Prates is. He's younger. He hits just as hard, if not harder. And I think he's actually going to be the first dude to knock the leash out. But it's I'm not going to feel great about it. I mean, I will because it'll clear that leg of the parlay. But I do like the leash, so it'll be bittersweet, I'll say. But yeah, give me Carlos Prates by knockout here.
Well, fair enough. The popular play this week, Lou.
I mean, if there's ever been a fight that has aura, it's this one, right? This is just oozing aura on both sides. I really think skill for skill, Leach is better. It's, it's all the stuff around it. It's the surgery. It's the layoff. I do have a bet on this fight that DraftKings put out today. It's Prates and over 1.5. It's even money. I don't think Prates steamrolls him. He's not high volume. I mean, even against Giles, he lost the first round. Chuck Buffalo, it just took one shot, but Buffalo is landing on him too. Prates is just gets his reads, takes his time. I don't think he's getting the leech out of there in the first round. Then I got to sweat 2.5 minutes. So I don't know if Prates gets a late KO. I'm inclined to think he gets a decision. Does some damage and the leech hangs in there. Mm-hmm. But Prates and over 1.5 at even money is the play that I made.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I might be joining you on that. And I do think this has good potential to be the fight of the night, to be honest with you. So very good fight. Lines at -360 plus 285 at this point. So definitely getting to a point where Lee might be worth a sprinkle, but he's in the Zhang. But Prates is in the Zhang Lee. So we will move on. And moving on to the frozen one, hopefully not, for this fight in Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Biggie boy taking on Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa. I'll keep this one kind of short and sweet. I don't think Tai Tuivasa is serious about MMA at this point at all. I'm not sure when the last time he really was serious about MMA was. I think he's not showing up prepared for a really intense fight. So either way, I know that Rozenstruik has had his moments where he's been the frozen one, where he's been frozen struck, but I don't think that happens in this fight. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he hunts him down and knocks him out, probably inside of the first round. So I'll say round 1 knockout for Rozenstruik. But if it's a boring decision, it wouldn't surprise me either. I think Rozenstruik takes this one all day, though. I think Tai Tuivasa is on borrowed time. We'll go ahead and we'll start with Lou for this one.
You don't give Rozenstruik flying triangle any possibility here? You don't cap that in? I mean, what if he went for a takedown here?
I'm going with the back rear punch.
I mean, what if he went for a takedown seeing Tuivasa's last 2 fights? The scenes, that would be
I would love it. I would love it.
I really wanted to bet an over here, like an over 1.5.
I've seen a lot of people talking about that.
Yeah, even fight starts round 2 is even money. But the problem is, as I go on and I'm trying to make this case that Tuivasa can land a lot of leg kicks, I'm making this case for how he could win, realizing that no matter how I think he can win, what's Tuivasa going to do? He's going to just immediately crash the pocket and want to brawl.
Right.
And he's going to get himself in trouble. And he's going to get knocked out. And Rozenstruik, you could argue that his recent strength schedule of his wins isn't great. Like Sakai might be his best guys beat. Shamil. I mean, they all have glaring weaknesses, but Rozenstruik's
your champion.
Yeah. I mean, Rozenstruik's pretty durable. He's patient. The round 1, round 2 KO is -115. I mean, if he gets a round 3 KO, oh well. But I got to think that Tuivasa can't fight a patient, smart game plan for that long. I think even if this thing gets out of the first and he is going for leg kicks, I think at some point he just wants to go out there and absolutely just throw. And he's got a lot of business interests outside the UFC now too. So I don't even know if his heart's in it alongside his skill set. He's fun to watch, but guys that are typically fun to watch get their asses kicked for the last couple of years of their career.
Does he still have that weird hairstyle also? I
guess we're going to find out tomorrow, right?
I need to know that. I should peruse his Instagram. Lucky, what's your thoughts on 2 highly touted, probably highly ranked heavyweight fighters here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is what dreams are made of right here, this fight. Rozenstruik is 4-5 in the last 4 years, and none of the wins were really impressive. It's no secret. I don't think Tai Tuivasa is very good. Rozenstruik is more technical, has more weapons, is just better at fighting. I don't want to lay a big number on him versus Tuivasa in a striking fight because it's heavyweight and guys can get slept in an instant. And we saw Derek Lewis land really good shots on Tuivasa and not knock him out. I think I had some sort of Lewis action there, like a prop on, I think, KO1 or something like that. And there was a big shot that he landed that I was like, all right, well, that's all I wanted him to do. It didn't knock out Ty, fair enough. That was a shot I was betting on. I lost the bet and I was at peace. I'd be happy to roll the dice on that number if he was guaranteed to land that shot every time. Lewis was the cleaner striker. He landed the better shots, but Tai took him and then landed a big elbow. And I say this to say that, yes, Rozenstruik is better than Tuivasa in pretty much all technical aspects of striking, maybe in all aspects of fighting. You know, it may or it may not matter. I think more times than not it does. So I'm going to pick him, but I'm not going to bet him minus 2XX.
Yep, totally fair, totally fair. The Zhang Li don't care, though. He is in the Zhang. 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I get what Lucky's saying. Like Tai in a heavyweight fight, like a dude like Tai is definitely live. But I am, and I did bet him minus 2XX. And it's just because it's like Lou was saying, Ty's most likely going to crash forward, and Rozenstruik counters well off the back foot. I think he is taking his career a little bit more seriously, and I like Rozenstruik a lot this week. I think he's going to knock out Tuivasa. I think Ty will make it exciting for as long as it lasts, but I think he's going to go out on a shield here. I think he's going to be all fired up because it's in Australia, and yeah, I think he's going to get counter punched to sleep. Rozenstruik does hit really fucking hard, and I think he is a little bit more dialed in here in the spot. So yeah, he's been in Australia for like at least 6 days. So yeah, I think he's hopefully that's enough time for him, and yeah, I think he gets the job done here. So let's fucking go, big boy, because I did parlay him. God, please fucking win.
Yeah, and he is a Zhang Li member as well. So once again, gonna move on to the next fight here, but Rozenstruik minus 220, plus 180 to Tai Tuivasa, and the over is at plus 150, over 1.5. So no play there for me, but Rozenstruik added to Zhang Li. I did make a change to the Zhang Li, so this will be a fresh one for everybody tonight. Moving on to third from the top, probably one of the best fights on the card. We'll see how the actual fight is, but Gus Gamarra taking on Dan Hooker, making his return after a year off. Taking on Jalen Turner, great fight there. Really good win for Hooker. Then did what he hasn't done for so much of his career, which is actually take time off. And I think that's a really good thing for him because he's always just fighting, taking fights, quick turnarounds. I don't think it's been to his benefit. And he's not taking on a monster here in Gamarra. I mean, Gamarra is very skilled grappler, don't get me wrong. Very good ankle picker as well. And I do think he can just kind of take Hooker down and dominate him on the ground. I think that's pretty clear. That's the route he can go in this fight. I think on the feet, there can be moments that Hooker can hurt Gamarra, and Gamarra, I think, has shown he's able to survive that at times as well. So it's hard for me to side with Hooker. I really wanted this to be my big dog shot of the week, but I ended up going with Gamarra, and I do think he ends up submitting Dan Hooker here in Australia. I think it's going to be a little bit anticlimactic, but we shall see. But I like Gamarra. I just think the grappling upside is too high here. But Hooker's been able to shut that down before. We obviously with Plessis, but Gamarra's a much higher level than that. So, Lucky, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Hooker's the hometown-ish guy in this one. Obviously, he's from New Zealand, not Australia. And I mean, I'm going to be quick here. Gamarra is better than Dan Hooker, is plain and simple. He's better than most lightweights in the world. But here's the problem. His chin, his durability kind of unnerves me a little bit. You know, I would be extremely apprehensive about laying this number on Gamarra against Dan Hooker just due to the fact that, you know, Hooker can strike. He can hurt guys. He's got like 9 knockdowns in the UFC or something like that. And Gamarra's been knocked down 5 times across 9 UFC fights. And you know, Gamarra just doesn't project as someone who's going to have a lot of win equity in a striking match here. But, you know, I don't expect him to make it a striking fight. So, yeah, to be quick, I think he wins the fight. I think he's better than Dan Hooker is, but it's a little bit sketchy at this number.
Yeah, no. There was just no way that I was going to get to this. And now it's at minus 340. That's insane. So, yeah, not in the Zhang Li either. I'm just watching this one, but again, Scamrot, he scams along for a reason here, and he's going to find a way to win against Hooker in Australia, I have a feeling. But 2 cents, you on the dog? I have a feeling you're on the dog. I haven't talked to you about this fight.
I don't really care for that assumption that I would automatically be on Dan Hooker. Like I don't care for that the implication there, sir. No, I'm definitely on Gamrot.
Scammer.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, in fairness, I do not care much for Scamrot or his fighting style, but I think it is going to bode very fucking well for him here. I think he is going to be just a rat, just gnawing at a crust of bread that is Dan Hooker's ankle. He is going to be diving at that fucking that little hunk of cheese. So yeah, I think Gamrot will feverishly spin on that fucking wheel, and I think he'll just rat himself to a decision. And I hope he does, because I did parlay him. I think Hooker is live to land like a step in knee. He's the better striker on the feet. Gamrot's been dropped plenty fucking times. But I mean, the dude, to his fucking credit, he does have pretty good recoverability, and his rat-like tendencies have a lot to do with that. But yeah, Scamrot by I like what you said about the submission. I think that he's a considerably better submission grappler, and I think if he does get on top of Hooker, he'll fucking choke him or take a limb with him. So yeah, give me Chinrot by Somish.
I think that Hooker could hit him with a knee, a punch, an elbow, or a kick. But that's just my opinion. But just the knee is open for 2 cents. That's fair enough. Loose cents.
Yeah, I mean, I like Scamrot here, rinse and repeat takedowns. But I'm never going to lay this price on him. What I'm going to do, and this will usually come out Friday when DraftKings puts out the same game parlay stuff. I'd like to see what Gamrot 1+ takedown in the first round is. You could parlay that with the fight going. It depends on what number they hang for it, but if it's anything less than like -200, throw that in with an over, and then that should get you even money. So that's the way I'm going to play it. I think Gamrot decision more likely than anything else. He hasn't had a finish in 3 years, and he doesn't seem to be super aggressive on the ground at this point. He's more about control than he is about inflicting damage. So,
I mean, so the under 2.5 in this fight is +220. I don't think I might take a shot on that, just because both sides have some finishing equity in this fight for sure. And I don't think, and I mean, so let me just see. How many times has Hooker even gone to a decision? And, maybe I'm just off here, but I feel so. Hooker, yeah, he's lost by decision 6 times. So yeah, he's willing to not be killed. I don't know. Like, it's probably goes to a decision. And if that's the case, could have some home cooking. I'll be curious to see how the judges are looking earlier in the night for sure. But yeah, leaving it alone from a perspective for me. So good luck to bettors on either side. Co-main event time. Australia on New Zealand action here. Kai Kara France getting all the love in the world this week. I'm very, very surprised and interested to hear kind of thoughts of my panel here. Taking on Steve Erceg, coming off of the loss to Pantoja that a lot of people felt he really moved his stock up quite a bit in. Pantoja, one of, if not the best flyweights in the world right now, obviously. And just at the same point, I think this is a very good fight. I'm a little bit surprised at the amount of love on Kai Kara France. I feel that Erceg, really can not only hang in there on the feet, but I think with regards to the grappling, there's a big edge he can have in that realm. And I think he's going to go there early and often. I do like that he's getting a full camp. I think he's the better fighter at this point. I think he's got the higher trajectory, and I think we kind of know what we're getting with Kai Kara France. And I feel that the BMF in this fight is significantly Steve Erceg. I get that Kai Kara France has fought the better level of competition, though. And I like Erceg in this one, and I think he finishes Kai Kara France. Somewhere, I think by submission, but I'm not. I think he finishes him somewhere in this fight. I think it's a really good fight, though. Yeah, I think I'm surprised it's the co-main event of 305, but it's UFC in 2024, so whatever. 2 cents. What's your thoughts on the co-main?
It's a pretty good co-main, dude, and I was almost I was almost swept up in the Kai Car fronts wave. I think he is live. I think it's a possibility that Urseg, could be one of the many fighters that, comes off a title shot loss and there's a little bit of a fucking hangover, a little bit of a letdown spot. But dude, he is literally the fucking hometown kid here. He is from Perth. If it goes to decision, Kai Kara-France is not winning this fight. I think it's Steve Urseg. I think it is a decision. I see a lot of people saying it's either Kai Kara-France or it's like Urseg by finish or knockout, or he's going to get smoked. Kai's been knocked out a couple times, and I get that Urseg looked good against my dude Pantoja, but I don't know, man. I think Kai is going to put up a good fight. I think this is going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, and then Urseg will win a fucking very close split decision.
Okay. Lou.
I agree with everything that you said, Aaron. I think that Ursig wins by sub, and I trust him to have the better chin. People that are talking about Kai Kara-France's takedown defense, I mean, I get it, but if you watch Ursig in all his Eternal tape, all his submissions are club and subs. He knocks you down, and then he takes your back. So Kai Kara-France's takedown defense isn't going to matter in this case. We haven't seen it at this level yet because Alessandro Costa was pretty tough, but Schnell, he just bonked. He didn't have time to submit him. Schnell just went out. So I think Ursig hurts him. I think he takes the back and he chokes him almost the second he knocks him down. He'll hunt for it. So Ursig quite a bit here. My only concern, obviously, he's coming off a super tight margins loss in a title fight. So you just hope he's motivated. I think he knows if he wins this by finish, it's a very easy sell for Urseg Pantoja too, with how close the first one was. So think of a dominant win here, and he's right back getting a title shot.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some unknowns with the high response, and really how good is Urseg really? I'm not completely sold either. And Kai Kara-France, I think, is maybe being a little oversold on his demise here, which is why, again, I made a change to Zhang Li, and it was involving Urseg and Jairzinho, but Lucky, tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Urseg, I think he's good. He fought very close with the champion in his last fight. Now he's a favorite against Kai Kara-France, and I don't like Kai Kara-France. I don't really know why. I just never have liked this guy. I used to get annoyed by the whole don't blink gimmick because he came to the UFC. And it took him 7 fights until he got a knockout. So these guys keep saying, oh, don't blink. Yeah, am I going to miss a 15-minute split decision with Raulian Paiva if I blink? Am I going to miss you going to decision with Tyson Nam? But listen, Kai Kara-France has been a favorite over Brandon Moreno in the first fight. And Brandon Royval, in his career, he's beaten Askar Askarov, was probably a little unlucky against Amir Albazi, to be fair. And now he's an underdog to a guy that David Dvorak was minus 300 against. And obviously we found out Urseg is a million times better than Dvorak, like most people at flyweight are. But I'm not laying a chalk number on him. It's a little bit easier to stomach now that it's come in. I think it's a pretty close fight on the feet. And I feel Urseg definitely needs to impose some grappling to comfortably cover the price. And Kai Kara-France is pretty good at stuffing the takedowns. I mean, Urseg is long. He has good striking, and like Tucson said, he's from Perth. So not only is he in his home country, he's in his home city. So that definitely gives me a bit of pause. But if you put a gun to my head here, I'd probably go with the underdog. I mean, I'm not going to bet Steve Urseg at the chalk based off of a fight he lost. And if he was coming in off the Schnell fight without fighting Pantoja, are we seeing this number? There's no result on his resume that I don't think Kara-France could replicate. And I said before the last Urseg fight, if he's that good, he's got to show me. And he didn't win the fight. I thought watching live, maybe he could have, to be fair. But I'm happy to pass. I'm just going to keep waiting for him to show me, I guess I'm going to have to stubbornly pick Kai Kara-France in spite of the, overwhelming and inescapable premonition that the opposite outcome will materialize. But that's kind of where I'm at with Urseg. Come show me.
Yeah, that's honestly the last second decision I have. I do have a Zhang locked in with Urseg in it instead of Jairzinho, but yeah, I did make the midnight change here, taking out Urseg, playing Jairzinho. But yeah, it should be a good fight. Minus 162 or plus 136 to Kaya France. Yeah, should be a good one. And congratulations to Nora Ashley for tailing the correct person on the Contender Series, who went 5-0, not 4-1. My mistake. 5-0 lucky locks, which is anybody really surprised at all? Again, I am not, but
I was.
well, it is a surprise every week with the Contender Series. All right, looking ahead to next week. Good luck to everybody who's trying to find the value there. But we're on to the main event. We're going to have another round 1 hour show here, and that's because that's how good those prelims were. But the main card, honestly, is pretty good. And yeah, again, clean sweep. Yes, I'm familiar. 5-0, Lucky went on the Contender Series. That is all 5 correct, 0 wrong, in case you're correct. That's also known as a clean sweep. I did not go 5-0. So anyways, but what up, Glenbot? Glad to have you here. It's been a quick show, but yeah, go ahead and check out the rest after the main event here. Dricus du Plessis taking on Israel Adesanya, 185 championship here at middleweight, the fight we've all been waiting for. Sure. Yeah, I am not a DDP guy, not a big DDP believer. I do think he won his last fight against Sean Strickland. I don't think it should have been a split necessarily. I think it was a close fight, and he won it. I feel like his cardio has improved. At the same point, I definitely feel that this is the type of matchup where Israel just kind of excels and improves as the fight goes on. I think he's going to frustrate DDP for a lot of the fight until it gets to the point where it's just kind of a clear decision. He might maybe drop the 5th round when DDP is able to blitz him. But I feel like for the most part in this fight, Israel Adesanya is going to control the distance, be able to work the volume. I don't think that he's going to be exactly challenged with the wrestling of DDP either. I do think he's going to be able to avoid that for the most part. I think that he'll come back looking very, very well conditioned, we'll say, without USADA. Yeah, give me Israel Adesanya. Let's see a round 4 KO. I don't even want to see round 5. Round 4 TKO for Izzy. And again, he's going to look stronger than ever, and we're going to see very upset Twitter, no matter who wins. So we're all winners there. So yeah, closes out the Zhang Li, by the way. Didn't learn my lesson last week with Tybura, putting the main event with Israel Adesanya in the Zhang Li to close it. Close us out, Lou.
I mean, I love when Twitter's upset, especially with everybody that I've seen on the DDP side this week. I know du Plessis has takedown equity here. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But then you have to assume he's going to go for it. And he had 6 takedowns against Strickland. He wasn't really going for control time in that. It was more to disrupt Strickland's rhythm. Because every time he got him down against the cage, and he half-heartedly went for the back. And Strickland's get-up game is pretty good. His wrestling's underrated. He just doesn't pursue it. Mm-hmm. But on the feet, and look, man, I like DDP. He's made me money. He always looks like he should lose these fights, and he pulls it out of nowhere. But he's very hittable, and a motivated Adesanya can make him pay dearly here. We're also getting a weird thing here. You know, months ago, we had Cyril Gane against John Jones, and I made one of the worst reads of my life where I made the case for Cyril Gane. Yep. And John Jones blows him out. And in hindsight, you're like, so I could have had John Jones at almost even money to win a fight. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting those vibes here. Like, I'm getting one of the best to ever do it in Adesanya at 185, and I'm getting even money on him. I don't know how I don't take it. I don't know how that's not a good bet unless he's just shot. If he's a shot fighter mentally, physically, but I don't think he is.
I don't either.
He got bopped against Strickland early, and he got weirdly tentative. But DDP is such a slow starter. I just don't see that. So I think Adesanya, you like round 4. I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's Adesanya round 1.
Wow.
He's just going to blow him out.
That would really cause some panic on Twitter. Lucky.
Yeah, I'm a huge, just as a fan, huge DDP fan. Probably my favorite fighter right now. I love watching this guy fight. He's a physical freak. He lands a lot of shots. He's big. He mixes in grappling, gets a lot of success there. Tricky matchup against Adesanya, who is a more clinical striker, good takedown defense. 35 years old though, 5 years of youth on the du Plessis side. Izzy seems like he's reacting more poorly to big shots than he used to do. He's lost 2 of his last 3. And usually when these fighters get to an age where they start to decline, it just goes way faster than you think it will. Maybe it's that time for Adesanya. Pereira stopped him in their first fight in the 5th round, in a fight that I thought Israel Adesanya was doing very well in the whole time. And the next fight, I bet Adesanya, and I actually thought he looked worse than the first one, even though he ended up winning. And I won money on him there, but I wasn't feeling really great about that fight, just watching it, to be honest with you. I wasn't super confident up until the finish. And, he did what he needed to do. He found the shot. I did feel like the momentum was not on his side in that one. And then the last time out against Strickland, getting rocked and absolutely dominated for 25 minutes. I mean, it's just a bad look. So in my opinion, he's looked worse and worse in his last 3 outings. I think he has just shown a legitimate decline in each one of those. I bet on du Plessis as a dog against Strickland. Wasn't the best performance ever, but he got the job done. It was definitely a lot better than Izzy looked against him. And DDP sparked Whitaker out cold and was all over him in their fight. Adesanya, in their most recent iteration, in the second one, went tooth and nail with them. And I think on paper this is a tough matchup for du Plessis, but when he was the dog, I would have been more inclined to get involved on him. I think the momentum, the way both guys are trending, I think du Plessis is probably at the best he's been. I don't think Israel Adesanya is at his peak anymore. The youth, the power, physicality. Du Plessis would make him the side for me as the underdog. I got to pick him now. I don't think I'm going to get involved on a side. What I like more than a side here is actually the under. I think du Plessis is going to be pressuring nonstop coming forward. That type of approach has given Adesanya trouble before. He's aging. I think he's primed to get knocked out sometime soon. And then on the flip side, as DDP rushes forward and seeks out his big shots, he can be open and be hittable. And somebody as surgical as Adesanya can find the button in those moments like he did to Alex Pereira. So I think the most likely outcome in a win for either side is probably going to be a knockout. So I did play the under 4.5 minus 110 here.
Okay. All right. I don't mind that at all. 2 cents. Close us out here.
Woo! Excellent breakdowns, boys. I think y'all made a great case for Adesanya. And yeah, good stuff from Lucky there. I guess it does finish. I bet Dricus. So I'll be one of the many if it goes sideways. I can be, a cautionary tale yet again, but yeah, I mean, you're giving me the champion that's younger, that probably has more one-punch power, that's the better grappler. Yeah, you mentioned the improved cardio. I kind of just think it's going to be a pretty close fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. And I think it should be a pick'em. I said this yesterday. I think it should be a pick'em, but you're giving me Dricus like plus 110, so I took it. I didn't go crazy with it, but yeah, I'm on DDP here. I think he has a chance to club and sub Adesanya. I think or maybe just knock him out. But yeah, give me Dricus plus 110 for me. But it's a real good fight, and it should probably be a favorite because it's pretty fucking honest matchup. But yeah, give me the champ here, and still.
Yep. All right. We got the split on the main event there. Minus 115 on Adesanya, minus 105. The over minus 110, minus 120 on the under 4.5 at this point. Yeah. Interesting card here. The prelims, not great. I think the main card much better. And we do have a 6-piece Zhang Li for this week that ends up at plus 1,019. So I did get to the 4 digits. And I will go through then we'll go around. But appreciate the breakdown again, everybody. This week for the Zhang Li, it will be Jack Jenkins, Luana Santos, Josh Culiba, Carlos Prates, Rosenstruck, and Adesanya. So it is a chalk Zhang Li, but it does get us to 1,020 if you bet it right now. Lucky, you mentioned the under 4.5. You have anything else this week so far? And thank you again for the breakdown on Monday with the Contender Series where you got the clean sweep. And again, really good stuff there. And thank you for the breakdown tonight.
Of course, man. You're always welcome. It's always fun to get on here. This is a good group of guys. It's fun. I enjoy doing it. So it's never a chore. And I have the under 4.5 in the main event. Like I mentioned, I got that at -110. And I do have another bet. And somebody was talking about it earlier in the show. I bet Rob Wilkinson on PFL at -150.
Yes, sir.
And I've been a big Yakshimuradov guy for a long time. Back in ACA, I like this guy. And he went through, Bellator, PFL now. I've been on the train for a long time, man. I think it's time to jump off the train. So I'm getting off with Rob Wilkinson. That's on Friday night. I have that -150. I have the under 4.5 in the main event, -110. That's all I got. Thank you for having me on as always. Thanks, guys, Lou and 2 Cents for being on here as well. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yep, appreciate it as always, and I'm glad to be on the Rob Wilkinson side with you. Lou, thank you for making it on. I know you were busiest man on the internet, and it's all good. You missed nothing but some shitty prelims. But any bets you like from maybe earlier on or that you want to point out? Anything else coming up for you this week?
Yeah, the only one that I have on the early card is the Jack Jenkins under. After seeing all the injuries, I mean, I think Burns round 1 sub is hilarious, but as much as Jenkins isn't a finisher, I think Burns at this point, all these surgeries, is probably cooked. Main card, I said I like the Prates and over 1.5. That's even money. Rosenstrike 1-2 KO. It's -115. I'm going to do the same game parlay with Gamarra takedowns, and that comes out. Ursig submission, and then Adesanya and the under play both in the main event. And tomorrow night, midnight, my usual nonsense on way past that channel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And last but certainly not least, just my 2 cents. Thank you as always for being on.
Hey man, thank you. I appreciate it, Aaron. This is truly one of the highlights of my week, as I always say. Shout out to you, Lucky Lewis, of course, my tag team partner. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. It was a good chat tonight. Make sure y'all smash the like button for Aaron if you haven't already, and best of luck. I didn't go crazy with this card. I just feel like it's kind of a bit of a minefield, but I do have a couple bets. The first one I made was Dricus +110, and then my pub parlay that I made this yesterday with the boys was we all agreed on Prates and Gamrot, and then Rosenstrike is my leg, so I like that. That's +146, and tailing the Zhang Li faithfully as usual. So that's my whole slate. So best of luck, everybody. Thanks again, Aaron. And everybody smash the like button.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you to the best panel in the MMA breakdown game, both with regards to the breakdowns and with regards to who these guys are. I appreciate the chat. Gibbs making his way onto the channel. That's always great. Juan Cruz, Justin Villegas, Lou Betya, thank you. His desk is on here, but Lou is also on here. The General, honestly, Brian, sure, welcome. I'm glad you're here too. Everybody, thank you. 20+ viewers, always appreciate the support in the chat. Good luck this week on the 305. I'll be putting in the community picks, my PFL picks, but definitely agree with the Rob Wilkinson side. And good luck this weekend. Peace out, everybody. All right. Easy.
That was a tidy little stream for a big old pay-per-view, man. That was nice and tight.
We're still live. Just so
it's okay.